Hello, thanks for checking out What If New Mexico, a podcast exploring multiple angles and possibilities for people living with a disability in New Mexico. Every episode unravels different experiences to guide a conversation about inclusivity and diversity inside the land of enchantment. We ask, what if it is possible to include everyone in all aspects of life? Each episode will share real conversations with people living with a disability in different communities across our state. We'll stir up dialogue to inspire a future of New Mexico that includes everyone. Join us every Friday for a new episode. Hi, this is What If New Mexico. I'm Jennifer.
And I'm Star.
We're here to imagine what if we truly tried to acknowledge our unique needs in learning, work environments, and social interaction. What if we respected everyone's right to express their life despite their religion, culture, ethnic background, sexual orientation, gender identity, physical and mental ability?
This week, we're speaking on the vast subject of help and breaking it down. If you need help with anything, you might have people to go to for support, or you might not. While the help you need can be hard to find. We asked people about this and whether getting help means being less independent. We spoke to Amelia, who revealed that transportation is effective and necessary for her to live her best life.
I used to take the paratransit service here in Albuquerque. Somehow the driver missed me, and therefore I got penalized because they came and I didn't show up. I'm thinking that they somehow went to the wrong complex. For about 3 years or so, I was a video tech at my church. So I would go down on Sunday morning or sometime before and look over the PowerPoint slides for worship. Was Christmas Eve morning. My mom like, just take the bus. You'll probably beat me there. That was not the case. Instead of dropping me off downtown and then going to the South Valley, they went to the South Valley first and then dropped me off downtown. And meanwhile, I'm, supposed to be there like 30 minutes before service started. And my boss is texting me. My mom's calling me. I'm panicking. I'm like, this is my job.
So Amelia had to get to a job, and it's a job just like anyone else's. Sometimes that's just not treated as if it's important.
Sometimes it's hard to talk, tell everybody, I understand. I wish I could drive like my family can. And I don't like to, you try to get the transportation and stuff. So sometimes people are busy and you can't really go wherever you want to go.
To support everybody better, the community can be more friendly to those with disabilities and provide better transportation options to support wheelchair users. My help does include state help in that I am on the DD waiver. The city help I receive is riding the bus. However, this is difficult due to their schedule, lack of willingness for Rio Rancho and Albuquerque to work together to provide transportation for people with special needs and problems with sidewalks, safety getting around.
So when I think about independence and dependence, some people act like independence means you do everything for yourself. But if you look at regular people, they hardly do anything for themselves. They pay people to do the housing and cars, transportation and everything. And so really independence is more like buying power.
Independence to me means that I am able to be a contributor to the things that matter to me. I chose what I want to be involved in, how I want to be involved in that at any time I can stop being involved. Independence means that I have the supports from my caregiver, family, and friends to do the things I want.
like doing your laundry or washing your dishes or making up your own bed or taking care of yourself?
Independence for me means that I'm in charge of making choices for my own life. I was thinking that dependence doesn't necessarily feel like the opposite, because I do think often about how I'm an independent person who needs support. So dependence doesn't mean that I'm not independent when I have a support needs. When I think of dependence in the system, I think about ableism. Not all help asks the person what they need and lets the person who needs help make those decisions and direct their support.
As being independent, I love to go to the grocery store, and I love to just buying out food and groceries and just paying for what I got to pay, and just come back to the car and just come back to my father's and mother's car to just load and empty out the groceries and all stuff. I also, what I do independent is I to sign in my ledger, and I to keep track of my money, keep track of my expenses. And so I can go on about independence, but those are the couple of things I want that I do as being independent.
How does one ask for help when it's needed? Sometimes it can be solved easily and no big deal. But other times, we must ask.
I'm currently trying to learn how to ask for support from people around me, but asking for help's always been a struggle through my life. I never had examples beyond my own personal family, but reflecting on life in our society, the way that we're taught you're supposed to take care of, you're rewarded for doing things by yourself, and it's taboo to need support, so there's just not been a lot of examples of where do you go when you need help, and what do you do, and how, and like, who are you supposed to ask? I've gone through a lot of times when I'm struggling in my CPTSD at its worst, and I just end up unloading on anyone who is kind enough to listen to me, just because I think, maybe help will come from anywhere if I just put myself vulnerably out there everywhere, and that hasn't worked either. So it's like getting help is like a strategy that I'm trying to learn.
I have aphasia at times, transient aphasia, a brain injury, and affects, the executive functioning stuff. So I can't express myself. So, like if I go to the grocery store and trying to find something and I can't get the word for it, then, a lot of times I'll just stay in the grocery store for hours looking for something because I don't ask anybody for help. And I realized in the past, before I knew I had brain injury, that I would have horrible anxiety about trying to function.
Hard to ask because more or less people thinks that you're bugging them or you're just totally don't know what you're doing. Just like, I can do this, but I need guidance. I need help.
We've all received it in one form or another. Unhelpful advice or actions which end up being disrespectful and possibly physically invasive. We listened to a couple of stories regarding help which wasn't warranted.
A time when I received help that was not helpful at all occurred when I was at Disneyland. Because I have cerebral palsy, my muscles don't work well. This causes me to drool. I wear a bandana to keep my cloths dry. A stranger came up to me when I was with my family going to the next ride, and she dried my chin and told my mom, not me, that I was drooling. Yep, not helpful.
I've had friends who have wanted to help me, but they don't consider their own limitations. Once we're into the support, they're pushing themselves beyond what they might have to give. So it's gone painfully wrong in the past when that's happened, because then people might build up resentments about helping, and then that's where it's turned into ableist situations. Ideally, I would think that situation where a person understands their own limitations, their own boundaries, what they have to give, and that help that they're not able to give, that they're able to speak up about that too. I think it is the best way to go about it. Asked her if she could help me, and she complained.
Sometimes they would do too much stuff for me, the job coaches, and I needed to learn that part of the thing, and that wasn't always a good thing. And then other times I needed being shown, and they weren't going to show me how to do it. I've had that happen to me in jobs.
So I've heard people say that if you're a little bit disabled, they deny you the support that you need. But if you're more disabled, you get the support, but they deny you the agency. In other words, you're not allowed to ask. So either way around, you're kind of screwed either way. You get denied agency, or you get denied support. So it would be awesome if we had the agency to ask for the support and we could get the support.
A lot of people see help as a weakness and may feel shame that they need it or have to ask for it. I see it as a strength because it develops trust and open communication between me and those around me.
Good helpers are like people that don't push you too hard. They help you at first to see if you get stuff, to help you for the basic parts first, but then after a while, they see how you are progressing, and they help, and they leave you on your own to just go ahead and just go ahead and do it, because you learn so far, but at the same time though, to keep an eye on the client or the friend or whoever they're trying to help to just see that they're getting the goals accomplished right away.
So there's this old saying, give a man a fish, feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish, feed him for a lifetime. And I think that has a lot to do with what we're talking about here with disability, because oftentimes somebody will want to be the teacher and teach you how to do something and not realize that disability means that you just don't do that thing. So therefore, sometimes you just need the fish, and sometimes you need to be taught how to fish. So I think it's kind of easy for people to understand if you have a wheelchair, it's a physical disability, and there's a step. There's no amount of teaching that can get the person to go up a step, right? That's clear. We understand that. And I think with many other types of disabilities, it's harder to see that step, but there is a step there, and sometimes it's a step that you can't just teach someone. I'm face blind, which means that I don't recognize people when I see them, even if I know them. And so people have tried to sort of teach me to not be face blind, like give me pointers or tell me, how to be polite or something, because sometimes it seems rude if I don't recognize someone. But my brain just doesn't do that. So it doesn't matter how much I'm taught. It's an actual disability that you don't learn how to do it. So listening to this episode, I think there's two main takeaways for me. One is that help has to be initiated by request. And the first step is listening to the details of that of that request, not making assumptions, and not have the helper be the initiator. And the second takeaway, I think, is the fact that support and independence go together. And several people were talking about that. So I think of it as like if you're a homeowner and you call a plumber, you're not doing the plumbing, you're paying somebody. So you're getting help. But the plumber doesn't judge you for not fixing your plumbing or for whatever you did. And even though we get help and we don't get taught how to do plumbing, we're still referred to as independent because we did that. So that's just support and independence going together. So I've heard people say that if you're a little bit disabled, they deny you the support that you need. But if you're more disabled, you get the support, but they deny you the agency. In other words, you're not allowed to ask. So either way around, you're kind of screwed either way. You get denied agency or you get denied support. So it would be awesome if we had the agency to ask for the support and we could get the support.
Thanks for listening to this week's What If New Mexico? We look forward to catching up next week about why aren't we talking more? We'll be discussing communication and what the impact has on our relationships, our experiences, and our community as a whole.